Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and yes, it's day 75 sunshine. Today, I'm recording in Dubai, outside Dubai Mall, and as you can see behind me, is the big one. The Burj Khalifa is right behind. So, Friday, the 24th of April, uh, a day and a date that I will never forget. I won't tell you every reason I won't forget, but I started off this morning watching the sun come up, which was absolutely beautiful. My new habit since I've been out here is watching the sun rise and also recording something that will help my son rise. That is my daily activity that I absolutely love, but not as much as I love doing this, right? This is my favorite part of every single 24 hours, 86,400 seconds every single day. This is my favorite thing. Recording a message for you, my little sunshine boy. So, as well as watching the sunrise, uh, whilst I do that, I have lots of thoughts and ideas. And I think the one thing I wanted to share with you today, son, is every day is an opportunity to discover who you are, right? And I was lucky enough to find out why I'm here on Earth, what I'm here to do on this planet Earth. And I was only 19 when this happened, right? And it was throughout a meditation. And within this meditation, um, I met what some people call your spirit guides. And these are people that you go within and you connect and they give you guidance, right? And these guys said to me what I was here to do on planet Earth. And at the time, I was only 19 and I was loving being a hairdresser. And what happened was, I said, look, can I still be a hairdresser if this is my job? They said, yeah, of course you can. It's going to allow you to, it's going to allow you to connect with people and practice your craft. And you'll understand why that's relevant in a minute, right? So what they told me my job was to help people discover their true potential in life by helping their clean their lens, right? And what I mean by that is everybody has a lens on how they view the world. For example, if you don't eat meat and you have the vegetarian lens and someone shows you a meat sandwich, it's not going to look good. Whereas if you do eat meat and I show you it and you have a meat lens, and I'm just simplifying it, right? The lens is far more complicated than you could imagine. And the reason, what's going on back there? Sure, I saw something that's something about the earth and DNA. Okay, that's the end of that. So we all have a lens. Dr. John D. Martini talks it. Your lens is composed of your hierarchy of values, the things that you deem important and not important. And I know in your life, um, some of the most important things are playing your games and I know this from experience, your best friend, Charlie. If I'm talking to you on the phone and Charlie calls, what do you say? Daddy, Charlie's calling. I've got to go. And look, I get it. Your mates are your mates and you have a good time with them. I've got some of the best mates in the world. and there's no reason why you shouldn't. But this is a lens, right? We all have a lens based on the hierarchy of your values, and no one's right or wrong for their lens, but based on your lens, that's how you view the world. So when I got told this at 19, I didn't realize how I was going to do it. I just got told that this was my job. Now, growing up at the age of 26, I went to see Tony Robbins at the UPW. And when I got there, I didn't realize that this was a job. When I was at school, nobody told me you could get paid to talk. Because as a hairdresser, I used to cut, blow dry, talk, cut, blow dry, talk, talk, highlight, talk, cut, blow dry, talk. And that was an everyday occurrence. And I guess I like talking. So when I got to the seminar and saw Tony Robbins on stage, there were 12,500 people there. And I'd paid a minimum of £400. And I saw there were 12,500 people. I worked that out. He was making about £4 million in 4 days. Nobody told me this was a career option. So one of the things that Tony Robbins says is find somebody who's in a position that you would love to be in, and then find out how they got there. And I believed I could do that. And that's when I met Kalpesh Gaga, right? So I met him in Trafalgar Square. I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, "Excuse me, I recognize your head." Now, that may sound like a strange thing for someone to say, but if you're a hairdresser, you recognize heads. And I recognized the back of his head. And because I recognized the back of his head, I said, "What do you do, mate?" He was a bit taken aback because most people don't say things like that, right? And as a result, he said, "I'm a motivational speaker." And I took his phone number and I said, "This is what I would love to do, is I want to get on stage and tell stories and talk to thousands of people." And as the story developed, he told me to, I rang him every single day. In fact, sorry, I messaged him every single day, asking him, "Can I have a job, please, mate? Can I have a job? Can I have a job?" And he replied saying, "Wow, you are really hungry," right? When somebody shows you hunger, that they really want something, it's pretty obvious because they really, really want it. You know, I know when you've really, 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 really wanted something, what do? You keep going on about it. So Kalpesh Kaka then said, "Go to this hotel at Heathrow Airport and wear a suit and go in." And I went into this room and a Canadian guy by the name of Andrew Faradani showed us what you can do and how you can do it. And I said, "Sign me up, I am in." Now, the magical thing that I also want to add, yesterday I had a phone call with Mr. Andrew Faradani, who lives in Canada, who I met 22 years ago. And why do I say this? Because Andrew and I are still friends 22 years, 22 years later. And look, Andrew is a very successful businessman. He was successful when he was here, and he's even more successful now he's in Canada. And you will like this, son. He is in the gaming industry. You're right, yeah, playing computer games. He's got a company called Gladiator Gaming, and he's very, very, very successful. And I'm going to do a deal with him. There's people I know here in Dubai, and they were looking for something. So yesterday, we started initiating a possible deal between my friend of 22 years ago and somebody I met recently here in Dubai. Now, I won't go into the details of that until it's all complete, but 22 years ago, that's when I discovered him. That's when I discovered there was a whole world of personal development. And there's people like Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley, Brian Tracy. All of these people were introduced to me. And I didn't realize that was an industry. So if you want to become the best of anything or you want to learn a trade, you want to find as many people that are good. So I wanted to find out as many good speakers as there were and find out what made them good, how they spoke so they were good. And the one thing that I learned after speaking to or listening to all of these speakers is they are all great storytellers. So bringing that to today, one of the realizations I had this morning is I need to figure out who I am, what I'm doing, and what I represent, right? So once upon a time, I recognized myself as a hairdresser. Then there was a period of time when I recognized myself as a barber. Then there were times when I was recognized as a sales trainer, a sales guy, a speed reading teacher. Many, many hats have been worn by your daddy. And I'm at a stage now at 50. I'm here in Dubai. And the question is, what do you do? People always ask me this question. And I have a bit of a dilemma because I love speaking and I love talking. I love cutting hair. So some people knew me as the blockchain barber. Some people knew me as Dizzy Taylor. Some people knew me as Darren Taylor. Some people knew me as something else. So I figured, based on feedback I've had from lots of people that I've interacted with, and they said, Dizzy, Darren, blockchain barber, who are you, man? And we broke it down to two areas that I'm calling myself. So number one, and this is what I love doing, I love being a storytelling hairdresser because that's what it is, right? Somebody once said, oh, what do you do? And I made up, I'm a storytelling hairdresser. And that was something that stuck. The other person was really intrigued. Oh, I'd love to know more. And based on who I am, based on what I do, and the fact that I'm on my own interacting with lots of people from around the world, I figured the storytelling hairdresser was a really good title. It was catchy, it was easy to remember, and most of all, it was very intriguing and leading people to want to know more. So I figured, okay, that doesn't tell me much about what I do for a living and how I make my money. And as you know, I work with our good friend Jeremy, and he buys and sells companies. So how I got to Dubai was Jeremy said, I rang him up and I said, Jeremy, give me a job, please. And he said, okay, Dizzy, I've just bought a company. If you can get some people to buy some shares in this company before I put it on the stock market, I will give you a job. I will fly you out to Dubai. I will set your company up and you can then work for me. So day 75, the reason I'm here is because I did what I said, I did what I was asked to do. And as a result, I'm here. My company's set up and I'm out here doing my thing, networking and meeting people. And my job is to find out if they have any spare cash, how much spare cash they have, and whether they'd like to look at an opportunity to buy into a company so they can multiply their cash, right? That's my job description. That's how I make money. So we have two profiles, right? We have Audacious Associates, which is my company that brokers deals between some people and other people with Jeremy's company and other companies. And that's my professional title. I'm a fundraiser. I'm a broker for pre-IPO opportunities. And that's what I do professionally in my career to generate income. On the flip side, the storytelling hairdresser is my passion. That's not something I do for money. That's something that I believe I was born to do. And the reason I know that is because I got told when I was 19, and at the grand old age of 50, I know, based on feedback from the public and people that have heard me speak. Last week, Tuesday, I don't know if you've seen this, but Peter Doyle was on, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, Peter Doyle came on, and he might, if you've watched that video, you'll have known that I shared a little story on stage, sorry, not on stage, on the microphone while somebody was on stage. by the gentleman by the name of Nick Santanasso, and he was born with no legs, one arm, and one finger. And he was the motivational speaker at the end of the evening, sorry, the end of the day, sharing us reasons why you don't have to be a victim in this thing called life. So lots of people play the victim's role. Poor me, this has happened to me, this has happened to me. If you imagine what happened to Nick. Nick was born with no legs and one arm and one finger. And it's that finger too, yeah. Sorry to swear, son, but that's Nick's life. And when Nick told us a story with some exercises, I got up and sorry, he said, would anybody like to share what they went through? And when I put my hand up, I got the microphone, and not in my words, but somebody said, Dizzy, you shut down the room, you touched everybody's heart, and as a result, everybody in the room knew who your daddy was. And people then approached me. And one lady, the next day, she said to me, did you speak like the way you spoke on purpose? And the facts are, I didn't. I just spoke naturally, like myself. And as a result, I touched everybody's heart. And look, the thing that John says that is the greatest discovery by humankind on earth is that we can change our world just by changing our thoughts. And your thoughts change by changing the way you look at things, right? So by changing the way we see the world, everything changes. I'm not sure if you can hear this, but behind me, I don't know if you can see over there, the fountains are going off. There you go. The Dubai fountains and the Burj Khalifa. So you can change everything by changing the way you see things. And how you see things is based on where you look at it from. Look, as a 10-year-old, how you see the world will change from when you're 10 to when you're 15 to when you're 20 to when you're 25. Not every 5 years, but the world changes. The way you look at it changes as you grow up. But does it mean each time you look at it is wrong? No, it was going to be however it should be for you at that single time, and you're not wrong for it, right? So this is what happened today. This morning, I got clarity on who I am and the two different hats that I wear. Obviously, I'm wearing the hat of a father right now because I'm sending you a message, and I don't know when you're going to see it, but that doesn't matter. Whenever you do tune in, whenever you do miss your daddy, and you can't get hold of me, and look, I hope I live to see another day. But one thing that we know, when you leave is not in your control. But how you live while you're here is 100% in your control. And you can feel sad, you can feel bad, or you can feel glad, right? You can be grateful for all the things that you have, or you can be focused on all the things you don't have, right? And look, I'm so lucky that I married a lady who's going to look after you so well. Your mummy looks after you the best that you can have. And I know, especially when I spoke to you after your holiday, you had the most amazing time. And I'm so glad that you did that. And I'm so glad that your mum is who she is. And I never, ever, ever want her to change. So thank you, mummy, for being the superstar that you are, because this episode, this series, these recordings would not exist without her. Yeah. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being that person. Now, look, just when you think that's good enough, it didn't end there. That was before 9 o'clock a.m. We just got to 9 o'clock. So 12 hours ago, the rest of the day started, and I went to a networking meeting by somebody called Jamie Stewart. Jamie Stewart founded something called the Circle Network. and it's a networking group where you go and everyone who's a business owner, you turn up, you have some coffee, you have some tea, and they have a little bit of breakfast for you. You then sit and you break off, excuse me, into break groups of four. And as a group of four, you have 4 minutes each to share who you are, what you're about, what is it you do, what is it that you're looking for. So you might, whatever business you're in, every business needs customers. And this is a way of you interacting with people and recommending businesses, clients, and networks with other people. So we did that today. And look, the first event I went to in January, I met somebody called Gotham, and Gotham has been a good friend of mine since I've been out here in Dubai on this journey. So big up Gotham, you are a legend. And one of the things that came up for me on this journey was the game of snakes and ladders. Because in my first 30 days, I was really, really surprised at what happened with my interaction with certain people. And look, who they are is not important, but what is important is that in life, you're going to meet various kinds of people. And I relate it to the game Snakes and Ladders, because in Snakes and Ladders, when you land on a snake, it takes you down. And when you land on a ladder, it takes you up. And my experience here in Dubai has been like a game of snakes and ladders, because whenever you meet somebody, this is the land of opportunity. And it's a land of opportunity for the good and for the bad, because there are people that will scam you. There are people that will trick you and tell you what you need to know in order to take advantage. Now, that hasn't exactly happened to me. And like I said, I'm not going to go through what happened or who it happened with, but I discovered somebody was a snake. Well, I didn't know at first. I thought they were cool. I didn't realize there was a snakes and ladders perspective that I could reflect onto life. But the facts are, it has been like a game of snakes and ladders. And Mr. Gotham, initially I said, Gotham, you are like a ladder. But as time's gone on and the friendship and brotherhood we have created, I've said, Gotham, you're not a snake or a ladder. You're an elevator taking me right to the top. Yeah. Right to the top of the Burj Khalifa, thanks to Mr. Gotham. Now, I met him at the first ever Circle Network event, which he co-hosted with the South African lady, Janine. And I know you, Janine, you watch the channel, because today when I saw you after today was the second event, she came up to me and she went, #DDD. And if you've been watching this channel, you know that on World Transformation Day, I had a surprise guest on the show, and he called me daring, devilish, dizzy. No, sorry, dashing, daredevil, dizzy. #DDD. And look, I've got to say, it was one of the funniest interviews, most inspiring. It was a really inspiring interview, but it was also really, really funny, because Mr. PPP, the celebrity guru, has a really entertaining style, and I love him. He came on, I'd never met him, and he called me #DDD. And when I saw Janine today, what did she say? #DDD. So Janine, I love you. You created a great network. I love your group. And today was the second ever time. Now, on the first time, I also met somebody else, but I didn't meet her in the circle. So you get, I think, 3 or 4 opportunities to speak to somebody in that 4-minute time, as well as hearing 2 more speakers sharing their business. And on the first visit, on the first one I went to, as I was leaving the QE2, there was a lady in a green skirt and matching green shoes. And I said, excuse me, lady with the green skirt and matching shoes. She turned around, I went, hello. And that was none other than the cool accountant, Andrea L. Richards. Myself and Andrea since then have become friends. We've gone out on multiple occasions. We went to the races together. We've been for roast dinners together. And we are 2 peas in a pod, the best of friends. So she was speaking today at the event. So I had to go and support her and obviously get involved with the network. So this was the first time since my first time at the networking event that I've gone back. But this time I've gone back and I'm like this. I'm really good friends with Gotham. I'm really good friends with Andrea and various other people throughout the network already know me as we've connected via LinkedIn and various other social media platforms. However, there was more people that I connected with today. Another lady that spoke was a name called Amanda. She is the mortgage concierge, and she runs a boutique mortgage company. What a diamond lazy lady. She delivered a phenomenal speech, very well understood. And maybe I want to get a mortgage once I get all this money. So I've got a house for you to come to with a PlayStation room and a puppy. And I was going to get a kitten, but Amanda says no. Well, that's another story. So listen, Amanda, it was a pleasure to meet you today, and even more of a pleasure to converse with you, a fellow British expat who's been out here 10 years, and she gave me some really good advice. And on Wednesday next week, I will be finding out how and when I can buy myself a place here with all the money I plan on making, right? So big up Amanda, big up Andrea, big up Gotham, big up Janine and the whole Circle Network crew. Thank you, Jamie Stewart. And one.
For the team to have a waiting list. If you want, you can take your time inside the ecosystem.
Okay, no problem. 2 minutes. So as a result, Jamie Stewart created the Circle Network, and he has a book called The Buffalo Way, I think. Don't quote me on that. I might have got it wrong. But when you get there, you get a little card and you pick it. And once you pick the card, it has a little message on the back. And mine said, if you have an intention, do it immediately. And guess what? I did. I called Amanda immediately and it went like down like a tree. So I'm being asked, I need to leave. I've run out of my time in this location. In fact, I'm going to pause. Back in a minute. Okay, so you're probably wondering how has that happened? Apparently, I used up all my time uh, where I was, and as a result, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to promote this restaurant where I had my food. They're called the Mausam, and it is Mausam. Look at that. How cool is that, eh? So, yeah, so this restaurant, you get an allocated time for that other section outside, which is a special price for a special buffet for some special food. But I won't go into that right now. I'm trying to figure out where I was. So yeah, the Circle Network was absolutely amazing. Jamie Stewart founded it, and the way he's done it is it's probably the best networking interaction that's been the most productive that I've been to in a long time. So day 2 of that was phenomenal. I met some amazing people here today at the event. And yeah, so that was really phenomenal. Something that I didn't share with you yesterday. I had a phenomenal meeting with Mr. Gustavo, with a new friend, Joseph, who is he has a lot more strings to his bow than I imagined. And as a result, there are so many things happening in the future that will definitely you will like 100%. But I think that's it, sunshine. Feels like a shame to end the video now because it feels really cool, right? Maybe I'm gonna have to come back and do another episode but I'll start here from the beginning because it looks kind of cool, right? It looks kind of fiery and magic. Yeah. So look, if you're not my son and you're watching this, make sure you click on subscribe, you like, and click on notifications. Because I know some people, they said, Dizzy, we never find out when your next one's on. But just know this, I will deliver an episode every single day, even if I'm feeling sleepy, which I did the other night. And somebody made a comment, Miss Rhoda, she said, Dizzy, get some rest. Well, I'm well rested, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day here in Dubai. 35 degrees and 9 o'clock at night. Who does that, man? What kind of weather is this? So, sunshine, it's always a pleasure to leave you a message. And I know there are other people that watch this. Blessings to you from the bottom of my heart for showing me love and support. It means a lot. And look, I'm going to do this whether anyone supports it or not because I'm doing it for you, sunshine. Yeah, you are my son. I love you dearly, to the moon and back, and wishing you the best, everybody else. Signing out from Mausam restaurant here in Dubai with the views of the Burj Khalifa. This is your daddy in Dubai on day 75, signing out.